Let's talk about reporting of the net numbers, because you might think, well, isn't that quite simple? We've been through the calculations, and all those calculations apply to the gross field volumes. So how do I quote my share of them? Well, the calculation really does depend on, to some extent, the fiscal system in which those barrels are being developed. And I've listed here the sort of typical main types of contract: tax and royalty, which I'm probably familiar with; production sharing, which is certainly in this region more than familiar with; and then service contracts. I put them in that order because effectively you go from top down to bottom. What you're showing is decreasing control and influence with the oil company or contractor. But in tax and royalty, effectively the oil and gas company becomes the owner of the assets. Okay? Whereas in production sharing, there's no ownership. Effectively, you're under a production sharing arrangement. You're just the contractor. You're not the owner of the oil and gas. The state owns the oil and gas. You have a contract that allows you to do certain things and get paid, but you're not actually the owner of the oil and gas assets themselves. Service contracts effectively imply no ownership at all. In fact, they're picked, obviously, for obvious reasons, countries like Iran, Kuwait, Iraq, where they want to imply no ownership or control whatsoever, because it's just not allowed under their sort of political system. So there you really are a service contractor. You come in to do a particular job. That job might be producing oil and gas, and you get paid for doing that job, and that's the only rights you have. It doesn't imply that you are in control of the wells or in control of decision-making at all. Just to remind you, in this particular region, we've listed sort of the contract types, and you can see predominantly we're into production sharing. So I'm going to focus more on production sharing in the next few slides than tax and royalty. But Thailand and Australia are other examples of remaining tax and royalty systems in the sort of Asia-Pacific region. Within Europe, Northwest Europe and the US, tax and royalty is the favoured system. Okay?